Some of his highlights include establishing a statewide organization for the National Health Association services for executives for the state of Florida, which he served as the immediate past president. He's also the program chair for HIMSS, in which he provides knowledge share programs for health information technology professionals in South Florida. Grant has created a socially conscious digital presence that inspires the healthcare community. He was also recognized by Becker's Healthcare Review and best-selling authors and brand masters Martin Lindstrom in 2021. He also offers his own acclaimed personal branding program and business development strategy for small businesses. So we're very grateful that Grant took time out of his day to present to us today. So without further ado, introducing Grant McGaugh.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Doing good.
We're doing good.
I see some smiling faces, out there. Some people that I know, like Chica. If it wasn't for Chica, I would not be here. She's a testament, I should say, to personal branding and why it's so important. Because I got engaged with Chica in Orlando. I think I was actually doing a NASI event in conjunction with, I don't know if that was HIMSS or ACHE. I mean, so many different associations, I can't remember. That's kind of sad, isn't it? But I met her, we talked, she got involved with our particular chapter. It's been a wonderful journey and experience. And she reached out to me and said, Grant, we're doing these lunch and learns with the ACHE Central Florida. We'd love for you to present on personal branding because we like some of the things that we see that you're doing from a social media standpoint. And I think you would be impactful and it can help our student population to move their career forward. So I want to thank Chica for doing that. And I also want to thank Adam and Farah for working with me in the background, like, hey, we're going to keep this guy, on point. He's not going to screw this up, and we'll make it interactive and fun. So I love the hand signal. So we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. This is not a lecture. You guys get enough lectures all day long. You're trying to get your degrees. You are getting your degrees. You're very educated. I understand that. I am here to fill in some of the gaps that you might have when it comes from personal branding and kind of what it is. Adam, matter of fact, can we do that? I think I can do that. I think I did it. Yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing. If it is all right with you all, I wanted to record the lecture. That way, if those that cannot attend, maybe they're at work, if they cannot attend, I can go ahead and send the link after the presentation, and they can also benefit from this experience. So if it is not okay with you, maybe you can turn off your camera. But if it is all right with you, go ahead and turn your cameras on.
Go ahead and hit the record button, and I think we should be all set.
We are recording.
Perfect. Thanks, Grant.
So, Adam kind of, crystallized a lot of my career journey. The last 20 years, I've definitely been an IT sales professional, mainly down here in South Florida. And then about 5 years ago, I got more involved with healthcare as a vertical. And I loved it because there's a mission in healthcare. The mission of improving patient outcomes. So what I do is enable those outcomes to be more positive through technology. And that has been I would say a passion for me. It is taking my journey to another level as far as what I'm able to do and how I'm able to help others. It got me involved in the National Association of Health Services Executives at a high level. And then at that point, my journey began to change. I became more, not just an IT sales professional in healthcare, but more a healthcare advocate. I'm helping healthcare executives to achieve their goals. How can we advance that agenda, not only for NASI, but also for HIMSS. HIMSS is really the information technology arm of healthcare from an association standpoint for informatics. And as a lot of people know now, technology has been at the forefront for the enablement of the COVID-19 pandemic relief. When it comes to virtual health, when it comes to the pandemic and being able to deploy telemedicine or virtual health platforms at a much higher level. Basically, what you're seeing now is that something that would take probably 5 to maybe even 10 years for an adoption rate is now totally adopted, across the board, and will not be going backward because they see the use case for it. You can do triage in tier 1, tier 2 just from a technology standpoint that they couldn't do before. And now they've also done it from a revenue standpoint. So you can recognize the revenue, you can get reimbursed for these types of visits, which you couldn't do before, which is a big deterrent for telehealth type applications within physician clinics or even hospitals. So with all that said, I am a lifetime entrepreneur. I try to do the best I can with what I got. That's basically it in a nutshell for a lot of things that I do. But I want to ask you a question because I like to know my audience and kind of where you're at. I don't want to just be talking to you. I want to talk with you. So we need to be interactive. So it's okay to come off of mute, ask a question, because I'm going to ask you a question right now. To anybody would like to chime in, either live or via chat. What is your idea of personal branding? What is that for you? You don't all have to come off mute at once. So we have anybody in chat? Anybody want to be bold and say, you know what, Grant, this is what my idea of personal branding, or what I think it is, or maybe it's a question like, tell us more. I'm not sure, but I want to get your take on it. What do you think?
Danielle says, how I present myself in my day-to-day life and work.
Interesting. That's good. Very good. Very good. I saw
Yeah,
Adam, you came off mute. Oh, there we go. Lynetta, I like that.
Hi,
there you go.
how are you? I was going to say it's kind of what you're known for, professional wise and personal wise, your attributes, your persona, your work ethics.
Keyword there is what you're known for, not what you think about you, but what others think about you as well. Anyone else want to chime in?
Selena says, my brand is fitness, beauty, and health. Yanitha says, perception of an individual. iPhone, I don't know your name, but iPhone, my brand is how others view me in my professional career. Domisi says, your reputation. Dina says, my idea of personal branding is to have a consistent social media presence, ensuring my personal social media accounts align with my professional social media accounts. And Natalie says, how others perceive my personal and professional self.
All of those are correct, because your personal brand is how you see yourself, right? How you see yourself, and more importantly, how you project yourself to others. One of the key points that I come across as a statement for personal branding, that when you look at it from a career standpoint, and a lot of experts will tell you, and you might not even hear this, you might even put it in this framework, personal branding is career management. Think of it like that. It's how you personally manage your career, because it's very important to, when you're not in the room. You see my background here, I've got a boardroom. A lot of decisions are made in the boardroom in which you're not even present. So if the discussion turns to who you are, whoever's in that room, they may advocate for you, they may be a mentor for you, they might not even know you at all. And because you're invisible to them, you're not in the room. And so personal branding is about being in the room when you're not even there, and being discussed amongst others. When I talked about a little bit earlier how I even got to this point of talking to you both, that came from Chica. Chica was discussing things with Farah and Adam. I was not present. They said, hey, we want to do a lunch and learn, and who do you think we could go and maybe present? And my name came up. I'm not in that conversation. They didn't really exactly know what I was going to talk about, but they felt like, hey, this might be interesting. And then when I discussed with Chica that, hey, we could talk about personal branding, especially for the student population, they're in career development mode, right now. How can we then take that to a higher level? Let's have that discussion. So that's how I got here. And that's how I define personal branding. And it could come down to a point of another key word I would say is causation. Causation. I am causing that conversation. So when someone is in that room and they're discussing some topics in which I am now a subject matter expert, that my name comes up because I'm visible. I'm knowledgeable. I have 3 attributes in which I run my business. That is likability. The second thing is relatability. I'm relatable. The third thing is I'm knowledgeable. So I use those 3 things in my personal brand portfolio, right? So one of the things that I found that can be difficult for certain individuals, I've talked to individuals like, well, Grant, I see what you're doing. I see how you got to a certain level, but how do I get started? How does that happen? And the basic thing that you need to do, I suggest you do if you haven't done it. Some people have done a SWOT analysis, SWT, that's your strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Sometimes that's for a particular thing or a job objective or something like that. But have you done it truly on yourself? Have you done a personal profile of you? And I give my clients a lot of opportunity with that. So 5-star BDM is for brand development masters. And I do that for business development, personal branding and marketing. I do that for data and analytics, operations, also HR, and a lot of different management consulting I would say practices that are needed in today's world from small to mid-sized businesses. So that's very important. So, but the first thing I usually start with, what I'm really known for from a 5-star perspective right now, I do a lot of personalized videos for people. This is what I call my first intro in working with individuals, and it helps them to frame who they are. So if you go to 5starbdm.com, you're going to see an online questionnaire. And when you fill out that online questionnaire, a lot of times when I'm talking to my clients, they say, Grant, man, I love these videos you're doing. Make one for me. I'm like, I just can't make it out of thin air. I've got to get an idea of who you are. And not just how I think you are, how do you see yourself? So by filling out that online questionnaire, it's going to be an exercise for you to take a look at yourself, understand how you view yourself, how others are viewing you from your perspective. And then you could take it even further than that. And I did this. There's another website called 360reachme.com. I believe it's either 360reach or 360reach.com, one of the two. It'll take you to a website. It's free, doesn't cost you any money, but it'll do something similar for you, that you can get a personal brand portfolio of what you look like. But then you can email that questionnaire to 10 or 20 of your peers, people that you want them to give honest feedback about yourself. That's very, very important. Some of the things that I got out of that is that people said, hey, Grant, you're a super connector. I didn't see myself like that. That was their words. Grant, we see you as a game changer. Like, wow, these are very good accolades. I like that. I can put that into my brand portfolio because I was seeing myself a little differently. I didn't put it in that kind of tone. So as I began to understand how my audience perceived me, gave me an edge in how I can then promote that even further via either the different channels on social media or even individually or in person, because now I understand how I am perceived and I can play on that. And the things that are weaknesses, I can make sure I understand what those are and I can work on growing in that area. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions at this point? If not, I want to make sure we answer those 3 questions. Like, what is a personal brand? I believe we've done that. Why is it important? I think we've done that. and what I can do to manage it is what we want to talk about next.
Hey, Grant, what was that website one more time for the questionnaire?
360reach, REACH.com. It's either 360reach.com or 360reachme.com. I can't remember. I'm a little faded, but it will come up. And the author of that site is who I presented here now, William Arruda. He's known as probably the foremost brand expert when it comes to personal branding in today's world. He's been doing it since 1997. He has a book out called Digital You. Very, very good. And it gives you a lot of practical knowledge of the who, what, and how to improve your own personal brand. So one of the things that he states that personal branding is your most valuable career asset when you know how to uncover, express, and nurture it. So important. That's what I was talking about earlier. You have to know yourself, but you also have to get an honest picture of how others see you. And when you totally understand that, now you can take it to another level to be impactful for what we call career management, right? So what is your personal brand? Ideally, yes, it's going to be a combination of your character. You definitely want to talk about your competence. What do you know? Everyone here, most of you, either in college, attended college, or need to go back to college, probably like myself, to get even more skill sets. But your competence is very important because that's going to help you to differentiate yourself and use it as leverage. Just because you get a degree, think about this. You get a degree in undergrad, you've got your BA, your BS, okay? That's after your name, you get your Adam Roach BA. How many people in this universe have a BA after their name? How does that differentiate you, right? The only thing that differentiates you is you, Adam Roach. No one can say, I am Adam Roach, Bachelor of Associates degree winner. No one can say that. You say that, but you have to say it with your own strength and your own uniqueness. That's part of your charisma, who you are, what you do, why you're special. Because that's only the beginning. They call it layers. That's just one layer of yourself. As when I was talking to the manager, she's actually the managing director down at Deloitte here in Miami, for I think all of Florida right now. She said, your degree is just table stakes. That just says you're qualified to be interviewed. That's your MHA diploma. That's your certifications. That is just says, okay, you're qualified for me to even take a look at you. Now what? Right? You can't stop there. That's great. You achieved it. That's wonderful. But now you're in another pool of people that have the same credentials. So what makes you special? What makes you different? Right? So without personal branding, this is exactly what happens. And I see this over and over again, especially when I'm looking at LinkedIn profiles, that you just a commodity in the marketplace. You have your name, Grant McGaugh, IT sales professional. What does that say? Nothing. I mean, all it tells me is that he's a sales guy. There's Grant, he's an IT sales guy. So I'm in this pool of, I don't know, I think Jim McKean's out here. I'm in a pool of Jims that are all over the world. There's nothing that differentiates me at that point. I'm a commodity in the marketplace, and the view that that person is going to have of a sales professional is what is going to be on the table. I need to change that. I don't want to have a disadvantage when I'm compared to others. I want to have an advantage. I don't want to lose career opportunities, job opportunities, sales opportunities, relationship opportunities, because I haven't differentiated myself. And that last bullet point there, I've limited my own reach. I've done that myself, no one else. I've done that myself because I haven't taken the time to market who I am and what I'm capable of doing. All right. So I don't know if anyone, back in the 80s, you might remember these two individuals. Anybody know who that is? Who can come off mute and tell me who these two people are?
Those Milli Vanilli.
And why do you know Milli Vanilli? What are they known for?
Girl, you know it's true, but they was lip syncing all their music. They got busted. Yeah, that's what happened to them.
Exactly.
They was cute, but they got busted.
That's it. And people weren't, no, and especially in the 80s, no, lip syncing was not well known at all. That's like basically you're a karaoke actor. I mean, what are you talking about here? However, they were very, very good at dancing and lip singing. But when it came down to, after they got to the point of getting a Grammy, right? You guys just saw the Grammy. I think Grammy was just on television. Can you imagine that? You're on the Grammys, you're on stage. Everybody's like, wow, this is a great song. They're going to sing their song. And then somebody pulls the plug, right? And you're the only one singing. I think there's a show like that now, right? I can't think of it. It's on TV now. Like, is that the actual person that sings? Can that person actually sing or not? And they're really a terrible singer. Well, that's what happened with Milli Vanilli. They were actually very terrible singers. They couldn't sing at all. They were worse than I am. Terrible. So they quickly after that, they lost all of their credibility, all of it. It was just done. It was a wrap. Think about all the people that they were bringing along with them that were being successful and famous, and all those things just gone in a moment because they claimed to do something, but they, were not that. So about your personal brand, don't make anything up. Do the work to find out who you are and why it's important, and then get the knowledge. Set yourself apart. Become a subject matter expert. Be known for your expertise. Be known for that. If you want to be a healthcare executive, all right, that of itself is a commoditized term. What else is that? What in your expertise as an executive, what are you known for? That's what you want to focus on. And you want to crystallize that and be able to speak to that as an intelligent story at any point in time. No one can stop you at that point. So let me just go to the next slide here. And before I get started here in Create Brand You, I'm going to switch screens and I'm going to show you my particular LinkedIn profile to give you a better understanding of optimization when it comes to personal branding. Give me a moment. All right, does everybody see that screen? I'm getting nods. All right, that's great.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, so this is my LinkedIn profile. One of the common mistakes that I see a lot is especially when you get into LinkedIn, and I got involved in LinkedIn in like, I think 2009, 2010. And when I first got into it, LinkedIn was basically known as like a monster.com. It's a place you went to see job opportunities, people looking for jobs or people looking to hire. So it was a nice recruitment tool. I didn't take it that seriously. Social media at that time was still kind of new. Facebook was new. Twitter was new. I think MySpace was probably the top thing that was out there. I'm dating myself, right? So my picture that I had for my profile was just a picture that I routinely just took on my cell phone, and I just stuck it up there. And it was a full body picture. It had some trees or something in the background. It was not good. It was not good. And it wasn't until 2014, 2015 that I had gotten a job at a very large Fortune 500 company. And we went through a training. And that training was Miller Hyman training. And part of that was they talked about LinkedIn optimization. And they were saying, hey, this is the new way of communicating with your target audience. And for me, it was about IT executives specifically, mainly in healthcare later on. And you needed to present yourself in a professional manner. Not just, this is not social media where it's more family oriented, more friends oriented. This is business oriented. So because it's business oriented, you need to look like a business person. So that's like, aha, I need to up my game. So you want to make sure that you have a professional photo headshot of yourself. invest a little money in doing that, and make sure you have a professional photo. Number one, the high resolution picture is going to look better in digital. And remember, there's different form factors, whether it's on mobile, it's on a tablet, or on a PC or a Mac or a bigger screen, that's going to come across. So you want to have a high res photo of yourself as your headshot. Okay. The other thing is this banner. When you first go into LinkedIn, they'll give you just a basic banner, and that's all it is. It's a very basic banner. It doesn't say anything about you. This is an opportunity to brand yourself. So you can go ahead and change this. You can actually build this in Canva, canva.com. You can go into Canva. It's free. You can even type in LinkedIn banner, and it'll come up with different templates. And all those templates, just find the one that you like, right? That tells more of the story about who you are. So someone that's going to see my profile, they're going to see immediately, oh, IT sales professional, award-winning, visionary. It's like, this is interesting. You want to create some curiosity about yourself, and make the connection. I put Grant McGaugh here, another picture. There's 2 pictures here. Like, hey, this guy looks interesting. And that's the whole point. You want to be as compelling and magnetic as possible, right? So of course I've got my name here, but a lot of times here is where people fall down. Right here in this section here is where you can put your title. So a lot of people, they'll just put their title, your normal work title. That's an opportunity again to showcase not just what you do, but what you're good at. I'm health IT, they get that. Design thinker, like, wow, this guy's a design thinker. And what does he do? He solves healthcare challenges with technology solutions. That sounds a lot better than Grant McGaugh, IT sales professional. And that's all I had there. There's nothing that differentiates me at that point at all. But right here, I'm getting interested. There's more curiosity here. People are taking a look and say, what else is in there? Okay, about Grant. Here's another section in the About page. Now, you can put a lot of people don't know that you can put about 1,000 characters into this section alone, right? But you're only going to see these first 3 sentences. So these first 3 sentences have to be a got you. It has to engage you. It's got to be energetic. It's like, people are my business. That's my first 4 words. People are my business. Like, wow, I'm a person. He's part of my business. So it kind of draws you in, right? I'm accelerating your business performance through the power of connection. I actually work for a company called Connection. It's a great statement. So in my day job, in my 9-to-5 job, I work for a company called Connection that does health IT. So that comes across very, very well in my statement. Excuse me. So as you read through that, those first 3 lines, they're going to be grabbers. But then I can tell a whole story here, and this is very important. The same thing that Adam wrote, which is the story of me, I put into my About page. I can make this very, very personal about myself, who I am as an individual. They can read this and like, wow, this guy is pretty in depth. I like what's going on here. He's very interesting. I think I might engage with him, right? So as we scroll down, also in this featured area, a lot of people do not populate this area. It's very easy to do. You can take your most, popular post and place in your featured area. Either it's popular or you want to have some rich content like a video or something you've done. You can see over here, I've got the session that we're on now. Excuse me, the personal brand of you. So these are showcases. So if somebody's looking at, well, Grant, how is Grant in the community? These types of things answer those questions without me having to say anything. Again, I'm not in the room. But understanding how to utilize LinkedIn and as an instrument for personal branding is very, very important. So a lot of things that I've done and a lot of things that I'm interested in, I have in my LinkedIn feed. right? So my activities, I'm very, very active because that's how I stay engaged. That's how I stay visible. A lot of this other information is my living resume, right? So you can see where I work at Connection. You can see 5-star BDM. You can also build out a company page within my personal page. And that's important because it'll still keep your contacts in the same platform, which is very, very important as you try to grow your business. So if you're becoming an entrepreneur or you're going to be working for an individual or a company, these things are very important. So I separate my business life from my career job, daytime job, I just say it like that, in 2 different sections. It becomes very important. Even though they kind of work together to a certain degree, they're still separate in what I can do. So I wanted to demonstrate a little bit of how I use personal branding, whether it's for my personal job or even my business, that everything is in a certain area and that is optimized for maximum performance. And more, what I mean by that is that I'm not in the room, but somebody else can look at this and say, this is the person I need to talk to enable my business or objective to take it to the next level. Were there any questions at all on that particular area? Pretty straightforward. Everybody has an optimized LinkedIn profile ready to go. I see all the smiling faces. I'm working on it, Grant, working on it. No, that's great. That is great. I'm going to tell you something. That is probably the most powerful tool that I used when I was president of NASI, Florida. We started out with 13 followers because I was able to utilize the platform. I grew it to 10,000 followers within a 2-year period. That's because I had compelling magnetic information that was visual and very, very impactful that wanted people to connect with me or connect with their association. So that it's a very important tool. So I wanted to get back to the slide we were talking about creating brand you. That gave you a high level view of what you can do when you define your skills and made it visible. What does your market need? I'm not going to just tell them what I do, but hey, I'm Grant McGaugh. I work for Connection. I sell, IT components. That's not it. I need to tell them how I enable them to move their agenda forward. That's what I do. If your job is to improve patient outcomes, I want to bring forth technology that can help you do that. Let's take a look at what you've got today and how can we do that quicker, better, faster. That's what I do. Most people do not know how a cell phone works, but they know how to use it. So I'm not going to bore you with how technology works, but I want to tell you how to use it to improve your own life. So that's important. So you want to know what your niche is, and that's how you want to do that analysis on yourself. So you know what your niche is and what you're up against. You'll always be up against some type of challenge. There'll always be some detraction of what you're up against. That's par for the course. That's just how our world is. There's always going to be things that are for you, things that are against you, but understanding what those are, understanding what the game is how you can succeed, right? And that's finding your voice, and that takes you to a whole nother level and how you can be successful. So developing your target audience is very, very important. Once you define yourself and you feel very, very comfortable with that, you're going to know who's interested in who you are and what you do, what your skill set is. And then you want to target that particular audience. If you're looking to be a healthcare executive, you want to get a fellowship within a particular institution, you want to know who works there now, who are the hiring people, who are the department heads, am I connected to them? Maybe I'm not connected to them. Why would they want to connect to me, right? I want to look at their profiles. I want to understand what their interests are. Do they align with me? If one of these days I want to be a COO or CFO or director or something like that, you want to be able to look at people that are already doing that particular role and how they are promoting themselves. And you see the gaps in where you are and how you can then fill those gaps to be more unique in what you're doing, right? So this third bullet I love, you want to be the go-to person, right? So if somebody asks you or is asking who understands operations at a dermatology clinic, you want to be like, oh, you know what? I know that's Farrah. Farrah knows that cold. And then you come in and you're the go-to person. You're not in the room. That's why you're going to know your strengths and your accomplishments. So others will know what your strengths and accomplishments are, and they just pull you in without you having to do a lot of targeting yourself, if that makes sense. Okay. So you want to take a good look, very good look. This is something I do a lot, and how you can be, I call that word causation. Google yourself. Google yourself, especially if you have, say, I have an uncommon name. So someone go to Google, just pop in Grant McGaugh. And when they pop in Grant McGaugh, and they spell it correctly, it's going to come up most likely with my LinkedIn feed first. Then it's going to come in with social media. It's going to go to Twitter. It's going to go to LinkedIn. It's going to go to YouTube and the like. So you want to know what that feed looks like before somebody else does the same thing and looks you up, because that will definitely happen. All right. You got to going backward. So I kind of talked to this, but this is what happens a lot, that your employer is going to look you up on Google. People that are interested in doing business with you are going to look you up on Google. So this is kind of a funny slide, but it's not funny. This guy like, I don't know who you are right now, but I will look you up and I will find out. Now you have the opportunity to already know where they're going and tell that story. You don't want them to go and they find out, you know, I went to Grant's LinkedIn page and he just had some horrible information on there, right? I just know this is not something that aligns with our business practice. It aligns with our brand. What's your brand? So whether you are intentional about your personal brand or not, you have a brand. It's a persona. It's your digital presence. What does that look like? This slide here, powerful. So if you're looking to get, I said, a job, you're looking to join an organization, you're looking to work with a client, they're going to look you up and they're going to reject you without even talking to you, without knowing anything else, just what they find online. So you have control over that, because you can constantly nurture and feed your social media, right, with the right kind of content, even what it was in there in the past. Most of the time, they're not going to go back 2-3 years. They're just going to go look at the last, few months or something like that, because they don't have time for that type of thing, for the deep dive, even though they could. But you want to be able to have that at the top of the feed, things that are important, especially if you're now going to graduate and now you want to get that fellowship. If I go to your social media page, is that telling the story about you as a potential candidate? Because if it isn't, that's what you want to change. Okay. So why? And I believe we kind of beat this down. Why? That is the gap. Why do you want to personally brand yourself? You want to close that gap. You want to have the competitive edge. There's only a hair breadth difference between you and another candidate for that job, for that client, for that position. When you look at professional sports, you will see, if you watch a lot of times, it comes down to just a few plays. Both of those teams are uniquely positioned. Both of those teams are very, very talented. Both of those teams have experience. Both of those teams have coaching. What is the difference? One team fumbled. One team makes more mistakes than the other team. If you have this in your quiver, that you personally branded yourself, you have more than just a resume. You have more than just a CV. You have a personal portfolio of yourself that's digitized, and that they can look at like, wow, that's a game changer. This is not someone who's just playing the game. This is a game changer. And this is what people look for. I want somebody that's going to help me in my cause. They're going to help me improve my sales. They're going to help me move my agenda forward. So if you can increase your agenda, excuse me, your awareness and your influence by using personal branding, why not? Especially when it costs you some time, a little bit of money, not much, but it'll get you to where you want to go. This bullet point here, powerful. That means leads that they find on social media convert 7 times more than any other lead. Social media becomes powerful, right? I got more traction on social media than I did on email. Email used to be the #1 way of connecting and communicating with people. It still has its place, but in that very beginning, that stage 1 stage of how do you get connected or why would somebody even want to engage with you? Social media is the #1 platform, 7x more times than any other form of communication. So you want to optimize as much as you can your social media platform. That's personal branding. That's powerful. So how do you do that? Building your brand community. I think we've talked about how do you understand perceptions of others, using LinkedIn as your first impression, and then building out that profile. So we've kind of walked through that. You want to make sure you engage with rich media. Video is powerful. I talked about it in the beginning of where I'm getting a lot of traction in my business is being able to tell the story of individuals through video within a minute or two that capsulizes who they are and what they do and why that's important for you. But then you want to be able to make sure that information is targeted to the right audience. I had a woman that I worked with that she made cakes. She made beautiful cakes. She made heirloom cakes. She is a 100-year recipe that she worked with that was handed down to her by a great-great-grandmother. And then she made the cakes first as just a way to make money for, I think it was for a college fund that she was trying to do, like a GoFundMe type thing, and became so popular that became a business for her. So her target audience, she had to make sure that she had to get that information out, to particular individuals that like cake, or they can distribute her cakes internationally or nationally or locally. Very important that you're engaging your brand community and growing it. So when I'm putting posts out for healthcare that are on the other side, which you can see on LinkedIn, who's looking at that? If I see Jackson Health System looking at that, if I see University of Central Florida looking at that, if I see Orlando Health looking at those posts, then I'm targeted. If I see, Joe's Auto Supply, then I'm like, no, I'm not targeted. So don't just bring anybody into your community. Bring people, connect to those people that can enhance your agenda as well as you can enhance them. Okay. I gotta get into this. So how? Again, delivering that brand daily. You can't do this. It can't be just a part-time job. You want to be deliberate, intentional in putting information and knowledge out, if you can, daily. That becomes your brand, who you are. They want to be able to go to Chica. Oh yeah, Chica, she's always got great information, about these particular subjects, whatever it might be. She's becoming the brand expert about XYZ subject. And that information is coming out daily. They used to do it, you heard of the blog, right? And those are on websites. Blogs are still around, but you've got to promote it. And that's what this is. You're doing a daily blog, but you don't have to write an article every day. You're like, Grant, you telling me I got to write an article every day? No. What I do very simply, is very, very easy. I'm going to give you a secret. I don't need to tell anybody, but since you're here, I'm going to tell you one of the secrets that I do. What I do is take a subject that I think is popular, and I'll Google that subject, and then I'll get 4 or 5 different articles that were said about that subject. I will then cut and paste that article, that link into LinkedIn. I'll read the article, obviously, and find out, what's impactful. Now write, a couple sentences about it, right? And then at the bottom, I'll put some hashtags in there. Hashtags are important because it kind of, again, puts that audience into one box. And then I'll post it and it becomes popular. That's an easy, simple way of doing that. And people are like, man, I go to Grant's page because I get good information about health IT information. I get good information about personal branding. I get good information. So I want to engage with him. So when we have these kind of forums, like now, well, Grant's going to talk about personal branding. Well, let's find out about him. Again, being authentic, you want to instill the curiosity and appearance. We're running out a little bit of time, so I'm going to speed up. But we're pretty much at the end. I want to leave you with this. Whether you realize it or not, all of you, you're already in the business of self-branding. You're already in the business of it. But what is your story telling? You need to look at your own story or have someone else look at the story and give you an honest opinion about, if you read this story, you looked me up and read my LinkedIn profile, you read my Facebook, you read my Twitter feeds. What do you know about me? That's what's important. You don't want that to be a question mark. You want to know exactly what that is, right? So if you want to find more information about me and what my capabilities are and how I can help you to move your agenda forward, here's my contact information. I believe Farrah will also send out the presentation deck to everybody that was here. It also is recorded, but you can reach me in all the different social programs, reach me by call. If you go to my website, you can actually book a half-hour free consultation, and I can talk to you about a number of different things, whether it's entrepreneurial, whether it's on a business front, or how to improve your own personal image.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Grant.
One moment and I'm done. These are just some of the resources that you can use for personal branding from a book standpoint. I talked about William Arruda. You'll see some other individual artists that are here that I engaged with to know more about it. I was just like you, maybe for some of you, but I didn't know a lot about it. How do I get more information? How I can utilize personal branding to take my business and my personal goals to another level. So I thank you for listening to me, and we'll definitely take questions at this point.
Perfect. Thank you, Grant. Thank you very much for talking to us about personal branding today. I actually learned a lot, and I'm going to go improve my LinkedIn after this. I wanted to go ahead and open the floor to anyone that has any questions for Grant when it comes to LinkedIn and promoting their personal brand and how they can improve their LinkedIn profile as well. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or open your mic and go ahead.
I just have comments. Great job, Grant. I really did enjoy this presentation. It does remind me of one of our professors that always talks to us about knowing your why.